Hello, everybody. Little Mr. Richards here. I'm going to show you today how to draw your hand using a clear plastic sheet as a picture plane. So, you're going to need a clear plastic sheet, pencil, eraser, paper, a graphite stick, and a dry erase marker. All right, let's get ready. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start today by drawing some lines bisecting our picture plane, both horizontally and vertically. I want to be right in the center, so I'm going to take my ruler here, and I'm going to mark right at the 4-inch mark. My sheet is 8 by 10 inches, so I'm going to be marking at 4 inches and 5 inches. Again, we're going to mark right at 4 inches, and then we're going to connect them together. This is just a tool to help us divide up the paper and see a little more clearly where all of our edges are going to be placed. I want to do the same thing over here. I want to make a mark at 5 inches. Well, let's turn it sideways. That'll be easiest. All right, there we go. I'm going to do one at the 5-inch mark. And I'm going to do one at the 5-inch mark again. And I'll connect those together. Now I have 4 quadrants. That's going to help me to draw my hand. How, you ask? Well, you'll see. The next thing we want to do is set a ground to draw on. So basically, we want to make a 8 by 10 inch box here to match the size of our picture plane. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. This is a 9-inch piece of paper, so I need to take half an inch off each side. There we go. Flip it. Another half an inch off each side. Then I'm going to connect these marks together. So now I should have an 8-inch space. Perfect. Now, I need to make this 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is take an inch off each side because it's a 12-inch piece of paper. There we go. Flip it over again. And there we go. Now I'm going to connect these together as well. So I should have a box that is the same size as my clear plastic sheet. Now I'm going to tone the paper by laying a ground. I'm going to use a graphite brick. I'm just going to take this and rub it all over that drawing area. You can leave the margins white. You don't want to go very dark with this. If you go too dark, you're going to have a lot of erasing work to do. We'd rather not have that much. The idea is to just have a little bit of tone on the paper. Now we're going to take a tissue and we're going to kind of smooth it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be completely uniform, but we want to get some of the spots we missed maybe and even out some of the darker spots. This will provide a nice background for us, but it'll also take everything to kind of a middle value so we can adjust it both ways, making it lighter or darker. And then we're going to set up our hand right next to our toned paper. And we're ready to start drawing. I'm working on an angled surface, but it might be good for you to get them as closely aligned as possible. It makes it easier to draw. Oh, good. Mine stayed. Perfect. All right, now we're ready to draw. All right, we're going to make things a little bit easier on us. Scooch this over a bit by adding the same bisecting lines to our, I'm actually going to take this away, to our drawing paper here. So same idea as what we did on the plastic sheet. Whoops. All right. We're going to take our ruler, and got 10 inches here. So we're going to make a mark at the 5-inch point. We're going to try to lightly draw these crosshairs so that we can remove them later if we wish. Another one at the 5-inch mark. Then up top, this one's going to be at the 4-inch mark. The side is 8 inches long. And again at the 4-inch mark. Now we'll connect those together. Simple. All right. Now we're ready to draw. I misled you earlier and I apologize. All right, so we want to set these next to each other. Try to get them as closely aligned as possible. It's not going to stick for me this time. Ain't that just the way? Anyway, let's get started here. Maybe I can stick my eraser underneath it. How about that? That was a little better. Let me grab another eraser. All right, now we're ready to roll. Okay, so I want to transfer this drawing here onto here. So the first thing I want to do is figure out where these lines intersect our crosshairs. So a good way to do this, I'm going to practice measuring. I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to pinch it where this thumb line is intersecting the crosshair. It's going to be about right here. I'm going to make a little mark. And sketch in lightly to start and darken it up as I see fit. Next, I want to see where this line comes. What I'm doing here is I'm lining up the end of my pencil where I want to measure to, and then I'm pinching it at the top. I'm going to lay that down and do the same thing. And hold my pencil there as a placeholder. Kind of sketch in the line where it's going to intersect. Make this a little bigger so I don't lose it. All right. Now, I'm going to move over to here. Measure this. Place this here. And make another mark right here. All right. What else do we want to get? All right. This finger crosses back over at about this point here. Let's measure that and mark it. Wait a second. What's going on here? Well, that's good. Those look pretty good. They looked like they were misplaced to me, but my eyes must be deceiving me. That's why it's important to check. You got to train your eyes. They'll fool you every time. Another mark right here. It's kind of where the pinky comes down like this. All right. Okay, let's figure out where those wrinkles are. Whoops. Measure it this way. Got one wrinkle about right there. And there's another one right above it. I don't need to measure that, I don't think. All right, and now I've got sort of the intersections of each line. Another thing I'm going to do is measure out the point of each finger. I'm going to go to about right here. Lay that in. I'm going to go about right here. And now I can start drawing my lines in. So I know I need to get from here over to here. I'm going to watch that path it takes. You can check the angles like this. Lay that in. And you want to match that angle you laid in. I'm going to go up. And then it's going to start a mellow curve up towards here. And it's going to go up and over like this. And it's going to go down. It almost goes down to the crosshair here. Let's measure how far the bottom of that valley is. About right here. Bottom of the valley is going to be about right here.
Now I'll continue through this drawing in the same way, measuring and making marks, and then making lines that connect the measurements together. I want to pay close attention to the lines on my picture plane and try to replicate them as accurately as possible. I want to basically copy down this whole drawing. Let's speed this up a little bit.
At this point, you can check how you did. It's easy to do. You're just going to take your sheet and lay it up on top of your drawing. And you can see exactly how well you did. If your lines are off, you can adjust them a little bit. Mine's pretty close, so I'm just going to move forward with what I got, maybe narrow up my wrist a little bit. I'm going to mark right here, and adjust that. The rest of them, I think I'm going to leave. I think they're close enough.
Now, using the line drawing I've created, I'm going to use that as a guide. I'm going to go through adding detail and shading. So I'm going to look at all the little crinkles and creases in my hand. I want to look at the light and shadow areas. I'll darken the shadow areas with a little bit of shading, and I'll lighten the light areas with my eraser. I also want to think about contrasting the hand with the background there. So you might go in and erase out a little bit of the tone around the hand, or darken in around the hand. Either way should work out just fine. Continue to work through adding more and more detail as you progress until you run out of time. Try to observe tighter and tighter, smaller and smaller details as you progress through the drawing. And you should have, at the end, a pretty realistic rendering of your hand. Work carefully and slowly, but try to work from bigger details to smaller details as you go. Here I'm kind of darkening in my outline here to get a little more contrast from the paper. You also might want to smooth out some of your shading if you have enough time to do it. I hope this helps you to draw a realistic rendering of your hand and deal with some of the complexities of foreshortening and weird positioning of the hand. It can be a really tricky subject, very complex. So hopefully this helped you to be successful in drawing a complexly posed hand and progressing with your drawing skills. We will see you next time, everybody, and have a good week. Goodbye.